Hello everybody, you're welcome to Just for Men Africa, and my name is Olalekan Amosa, the founder of Just for Men Africa. And today in this studio we have the Zoo. Finally, I'm here now. I'm here. I know, right? Zoo has a podcast, Stay by Plan, and he's very vegetarian.
Vegan, yeah.
Yeah, vegan.
Yeah.
Just vegetables. And we'll talk to him also about relationships. Do you want to know Zoo's favorite sex position? We'll get to find out all that today on the show. Then stay tuned and not go away, and we'll be right back. All right, Zoo, you're welcome to Just for Men Africa.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, we've been working on this, but finally he's here, so
I know, right?
That's good.
Zoo is a busy guy. I mean, I'm sending him DMs like, oh, don't worry, I'll fix a date for you. But finally, it's happened.
I'm here now.
Yeah. All right, Zoo. First of all, let's start off. I mean, why are you vegetarian? Why are you vegan?
Honestly, it started with just curiosity. I'd heard about it. I'm like, okay, let me try this thing. I just want to see, because a couple of my friends had done it. Mm-hmm. And then prior to that, I feel like I was a fairly healthy guy. I was working out, I was going to the gym, I was trying to eat as healthy as I could within, what was available to me. But then when I tried it, it took me a while to try it as well. Like I had like a lot of stops and starts because it's not easy in the beginning. But when I finally, figured it out, I felt even better. But I've always felt good. I've always been a healthy guy. But I felt even better. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let me stick to this a little longer and see how it feels. So honestly, after a while, I was like, there's no way I can feel how I feel because I felt good and then go back to how I was feeling before, which wasn't a bad feeling, but it just felt better. So I'm like, I don't see the point of me going back to something which is not as good as what I'm experiencing at the moment. So honestly, that's just how it started for me. It started with curiosity and I tried it and I liked it, so I stuck to it. So, yeah.
So what do you eat and what don't you eat? You don't take meat?
So no animal products, so no meat, no fish, no eggs, no milk, dairy products. But rice, plantain, vegetables, everything else I eat. So I still eat like, when I talk about meals, I still eat like fufu, jollof, wachi, the same things I was eating before. Okay. I still eat them, but just, a little different.
Okay.
Just take out certain things, replace certain things, yeah.
So if I came with a plate with roasted pork or the meat and the sauce and it's smelling all good,
no, I wouldn't
be motivated.
No, at all.
Are you serious?
At all. I've gone past. I mean, in the beginning when I first started, and it's when you're hungry, people present these things to you. It's like, then you start thinking about it. But now, I mean, it's almost 4 years now. It doesn't move me. Sometimes I even feel a little off when I smell those things.
Really?
It doesn't move me at all. Yeah, so
you don't go to bed dreaming about it and waking up next morning to make an order.
Never, never ever.
What do your friends and family think about it?
Now everybody's understanding what it is. They understand why I do it, and they are fairly supportive. But in the beginning, people were like, this guy, like, you like because I was someone who really liked meat and chicken and all those things. They're like, this thing is not going to last long. Please stop. Yeah, please. You're making noise. Just the chicken. I know you want to those types of things. But eventually they realized I was being serious about it and they started to support me. So yeah, they're fairly supportive, I would say.
Okay, that's nice. I mean, it's good to be healthy. I mean, as you grow older, you need to be healthy. All right. So let's talk about your podcast, Stay by Plan.
Yeah, Stay by Plan.
Yeah. When did you start and why did you decide to create a podcast?
So for me, I've wanted to ever since I started listening to podcasts, I was like, I want to have one of these. I would say I started maybe 2017. That's when I started listening to podcasts. I was like, it's interesting listening to people talk about things, and I feel like I'm an interesting person, and so I feel like people would like to listen to what I have to say about certain things. And at the time, nobody knew who I was. I was just a regular guy. Nobody is going to call me, for an interview like this to come and hear what I have to say. Yeah. So in my mind, I have to create that platform to share what I have in my mind, which I thought was, sometimes I still think is very interesting and people would like to know. But then my initial idea was I'm going to do this alone, without anyone, like a solo podcast. Honestly, I thought about that. at the time, so I was kind of shy. I was like, I don't think I can have a podcast and it's only me who's talking.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think I would be able to do that. So I put the idea on ice. And then fast forward a few years to 2021, and then I was thinking about it again. I'm like, I actually really want to do this. I want to do it even more, because I started listening to podcasts even more, like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I started listening to podcasts more than I was before. And I was just hearing so many interesting conversations about sports, about news, politics, relationships, everything. I was listening to everything. I'm like, I also have a lot to share, and I want to share it. But now I know that I don't want to do it alone. Mm-hmm. So I just hit up, the first person that came to mind was my friend Afia. So I hit Afia up. I said, Afia, do you want to do a podcast? And she said yes. Before she asked any questions, she said yes.
Okay.
I said, okay. Then she said, but why? She was already on another podcast, actually.
Okay.
It's a podcast that had like maybe 8 people in it, kind of like rotate.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's do our own podcast and like, have like consistency, build on it, be very serious about how we are releasing and everything.
Yeah.
Be very intentional with what we are doing. So I hit up, and then she said yes, and then things moved quickly after that. Maybe within like 4 to 6 weeks, we had released our first episode. So yeah, that's how we started.
That's cool. How many views do you have now on the podcast?
Wow. I'll say per audio episode, probably have around like 5,000 listeners.
That's great.
Something like that for audio episodes. And then video really depends on who the guest is. Some guests will give you like 30,000 views.
Exactly.
Some is like 1,000 views. So it's around. Let's say it's a wide range, but depending on who it is, let's say at least 1,000, and then we can go up to 30, 40,000 plus. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. It's funny you mentioned, you brought up Afia. I mean, watching the podcast or listening to it, people were asking, is that his sister or is he dating her? So who exactly is Afia to you?
Afia is a friend, a very, very good friend. And we've become closer friends through the podcast. Before that, I knew her. We went to university together. So I had known her for almost 10 years.
Okay.
Before we started the podcast, but we were cool, and she lives close to me too. So, which actually helps a lot with the podcast, having someone who's close to you instead of kilometers away. So yeah, we're just friends. We're just very good friends who have a lot of good banter on the podcast, and because of that, people feel like there's something else, but it's just a friendship.
Okay, so let me throw you back to the podcast. I don't know, we will find the clip and insert it into it. One show goes like, I love you, Zoo.
I just want to say that, like, even though, like, there's a lot of banter on the show, I genuinely love Zoo. Like, Zoo is someone I genuinely love, even though Zoo doesn't love me as much as I love him. But I really love Zoo, and that's the most important thing. But I have to sometimes mask it with all the attacks just so that the show balances out. But yeah, that's just by the way. So Zoo, I love you.
Thank you.
What? Why'd you have to give a disclaimer though?
He said thank you. You see?
He chased it out. He didn't say anything. Why?
No, I love it too. But as
no, but that day on the podcast, you didn't say anything. You just made her, just went quiet, and
yeah.
I don't know whether you were taken by surprise or
I know what she was. You see, Afia is also very mischievous, so you kind of like, she has these little games that she plays, and for me, she's not single, she's with someone. For me, someone who is single, I can't be saying some things just like that. You know what I mean? So I kind of have to like pick and choose, and also for me, it's just funny when she says that I don't respond. She's like, oh my god, like she's hurt about it. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'll just play. The same way she's trying to play me, I'm also playing her. So it's just
it's a game.
It's a game, yeah. It's a game.
So did she mean it or she didn't mean it?
Oh, she meant it. She loves me. I love it too. Like, but as friends, or it's almost like a sibling type of thing now. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I get Afia on Just for Women Africa, we should be saying the same thing you're saying?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
for Shizzy.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. We look forward to an interview with Afia, and we'll see what she has to say about that. Okay, so the name Stay by Plan. How do you come up with it?
So, funny story. We were having a conversation. We were thinking about like, what should we call this podcast? We were having a conversation in our messages. And we're like, okay, the name will come to us later. Let's think about how we're going to promote the podcast, or like announce the podcast to people that we're about to start this thing. And then I sent Afia like a video. Someone did a promo video for a media company, like we were just starting. I was like, yo, this video is really cool, and I wish we could do something like this. So I sent it to her, like, it would be so cool if you make a video like this just to announce the podcast. We didn't end up doing the video, but it was an idea that I had. And she's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, no, but we can't just copy them. And she's like, sure, Accra Stay By Plan. I was like, should we call it Stay By Plan? Let's call it Stay By Plan. And she's like, yeah. Because we decided to drop the Accra because when you're making like social media ads, Accra Stay By is too long.
Definitely.
And it's also, I feel like it might be harder for people to see. Like, when I've noticed with names, the shorter it is and the easier it is to remember, it tends to be better. So it wasn't fitting in the usernames, and then it just felt like an easier name to remember. So we just shortened it to Stay By Plan, and yeah, we went from there.
I love the name Stay By Plan.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
A good name.
Yeah, and also making it Accra feels like you are boxing it in. Because staying by plan, you can stay by plan anywhere in the world. Exactly. So boxing is into Accra didn't feel smart. So
exactly. You need to think global.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's making Accra. Okay, I'm sure everybody wants to get to this part of the interview. And you kind of do not run away.
Which part is that?
Why is Zoo single?
Why is Zoo single? That's a good question.
Fine Zoo is handsome looking dreadlocks. Zoo is single. Why?
I think short answer, currently I feel like I do my best as a person when I'm single right now at this point in my life. So that's the main reason why I'll say I'm single, yeah.
Okay. And what's your opinion about women? What kind of women are you looking for?
I'm not looking out for women. I'm not looking out for any women at the moment. But I mean, for sure, everybody has a type. So for me,
slim, fat, big.
Not necessarily. I'm not really picky on like physical appearance. If I'm talking about physical appearance, I like face. Like that's my number one. Like I like a nice face, and then the rest doesn't really matter that much to me. But I like intelligent people. I like people that when I speak to them, I feel like I'm learning something, you know what I mean? Like every conversation is like, they'll bring something to the conversation where I'm like, I never considered that before. And then I feel like it's opening my mind. It's helping me to unlearn things I already thought I knew. And then considering other opinions, other, angles, and then just building up on the knowledge I have already. So that's the type of person that I find myself attracted to. People who I can have fulfilling and, intelligent and conversations that feed my mind, basically. Yeah.
Okay. What turns you off about a woman? If a woman were to approach you, if you're to approach a woman and you're trying to get to know her on a personal level, then what would she do that would turn you off?
If let's say, I don't mind people asking me for things. It could be money, it could be like, I understand some people in certain situations feel the need to ask men or their partner for whatever it may be. But I feel like on the first day, like in the beginning, like you can't start by, hey, I want this, can you give me this? No, I can't do that. I'll leave. I can't handle that. I can't do it at all. Yeah, that's the fun.
So first week, first month, no, don't come ask me if anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also depends on how you ask, but then it just creates like a perception of like you are here to gain something for yourself. Like you're not really here to, because ideally in a relationship it's like a give and take type of thing, right? You're helping each other to grow. But then if you come straight out, hey, I want this, like, no, I can't do this.
Do you support the notion that being in a relationship, women should ask men for money when not married?
Depending on both the man and the woman's financial and economic situation, yes. Like if it's clear that the man is more advantaged, has more money, makes more money, I mean, why not? Like if they're asking for reasonable things, reasonable amounts of money, and it's clear that it's going to help the woman, I mean, I see no problem with this. But then obviously if you are with a guy, you know that he's broke, he doesn't have money, and you're asking him for some, I want an iPhone 14, but you know his phone is some I don't even know. Some young fool me. If you don't hold it at some angle, you can't make calls, and you're asking for that. Like, I mean, come on, that's unrealistic. So yeah, it depends. It depends on lots of things. Yeah, but if it's, you know, if it's possible, if financially it's possible, I mean, why not? Yeah, ask. You may receive, you may not receive, but at least you ask. So yeah.
Yeah, like that. You may ask, you may receive, you may not receive.
Yeah.
Just ask. Would you date or marry a woman with 2 or 3 kids?
2 or 3, no.
1 kid?
0.
You wouldn't?
No.
Why?
Because me personally, I do not intend on having kids on my own. So I don't see why I would go and take somebody else's kids and taking care of them. That's why.
Okay.
But I mean, I think if you are someone who is looking forward to taking care of kids in the future, I mean, I don't think it should be a hindrance to you if someone has kids and you like kids and you want to take care of kids. By all means, please do.
Okay. Are you sorry, let me ask the question again. Do you like sex? Are you sexually active kind of person?
Hey,
Zoo wants to run away.
Hey. This question is hard. Okay. I mean, I like the idea of people enjoying themselves in ways that they think will help them. I'll say that if you feel like sex is what is going to enrich your life, you know, as long as you're doing it safely. I like the idea of safe sex. Yes, that's what I'll say. Yeah. Safe sex is very important. Yes.
All right. Yeah. And when it comes to sex, what's your favorite position?
Oh yeah, I usually don't indulge in sexual activity. You know, I try to stay, you know,
Zoo.
aligned and focused.
Zoo just lies to the whole world. Zoo is just lying to the whole world.
Oh no, believe me.
Right here on YouTube, and just from Africa.
Oh, believe me. But I mean, I'm not oblivious to, you know, sex and sex positions and, you know, all those types of things, because I'm someone who's also, like I said, I'm an advocate for safe sex, and actually English is hard though. I support people having sex with who they want to have sex with, as long as it's consensual and as long as it's done safely. So I'm not going to act like I don't know about sex or anything like that. So yeah. So I know what people like. So I can tell you what people like. If you want.
Well, what do people like?
Oh, what do people like? People, from what I've heard on social media especially, yeah, people like, I mean, I think also it depends on the relationship in which they're having the sex. You know, I know that for a lot of people, if it's not like an intimate type of relationship, or it's not you're not together, or there's no like connection, emotional, what's the word? Romantic connection. People like to do sex positions where maybe your faces are not that close together, so like doggy style and those types of things. But then I know that people, when you really like the person and you don't mind seeing their face in certain situations, you know, people also like the frontal, you know, face-to-face type of thing. What about you? What's your favorite sex position?
We'll be right back after this commercial break.
You see?
What's my favorite sex position?
You're asking a question, but you can't answer it.
I'm doing the interview, so ask the questions. Okay. You don't take over the interview.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so if a woman were to approach you and said, Zoo, I like you, let's have a relationship together, would you turn her down, or prefer the one doing the chasing?
Oh, I mean, if for me, it's not about how the person reaches out to me. I mean, obviously, if someone reaches out to me the first day and they're like, I want to be in a relationship with you, I'm like, hey, relax, like, I don't know you, like, you know, let's get to know each other first. And I'm also someone who's a big advocate of being in a relationship with someone you're friends with. Like, you have to like the person outside of romantic spaces, outside of the bedroom and all those types of things. Because there's people who start relationships with people they are sexually attracted to, as opposed to intellectually and, you know, things like that. So if I feel like it's natural for human beings, after they are together in a certain way for a period of time, you kind of get bored of each other. So if you're not friends and that happens, it's like, okay, where does the relation go to from here?
I agree with you.
So I think first things first, you have to be friends. You have to like the person as a person before you start thinking about sex and all those things. So for me, if someone reached out to me and we are able to build like a friendship or like a companionship that makes sense, and then we both feel like, yeah, let's make it a relationship, why not? Like, I'll be down for that, yeah.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice to know. Okay, so we're running out of time. We're about to run out of the interview. Can you tell us what's the future for Zoo and the podcast Stay by Plan?
Okay, so talking about the podcast first, at the time of recording, we're about to begin our third season, which is crazy to think about, that we're entering our third year. Is it even our third year? We started in 2021, so it's almost 2 years, yeah. Almost 2 years of existence of the podcast. And yeah, we're trying to take it to the next level, you know, trying to talk to, have, first of all, more enlightening conversations, talk to people that people want to hear from, as well as even just talking to random people on the streets, you know, like, we want to mix it up, we want to, because sometimes it gets to a point where people feel like Stay By Plan is, for example, an entertainment podcast. We are talking to like musicians. No, we talk to everybody, all types of people. If there's a relevant conversation to be had, we'll try and have that conversation. So, yeah, we're just looking to expand. We're looking to add more things into our repertoire. You know, the types of content that we produce, and yeah, just trying to give more energy to it moving forward. And then the future for me is, it's always hard to answer this question because I do a lot of going with the flow. I know it's not very smart, but I don't like to have rigid, you know, I don't want to put myself in a box because I feel like there's so many things I can do, and for me to just put myself on this path without allowing any flexibility moving forward, I find it limiting, you know. So but I can say for sure I'm definitely going to keep going with Stay By Plan, definitely going to keep creating content surrounding how I eat, how I live my life. And then yeah, if I feel like I have the capacity to add more things to my plate, at the moment I don't think I can. Okay. But if, you know, let's say the workload reduces on some of the other things I do, for sure I will definitely try and add more things. There's a few things I'm interested in. I'm interested in music, not making music, but just music culture, you know, music. Let's say, imagine something like Stay By Plan, but like for music, or something where you talk to people and just find out their creative process, even beyond music. So yeah, I'm really interested in creativity and in psychology around creativity, and you know, music. Like I said, yeah, so many things I'm interested in. So if I feel like I'm being led towards something, I'll definitely go towards it because I think I believe I can do anything. So yeah.
Okay, that's nice to know. Okay, so let me just ask 2 more questions. Then those run. Are you an Android or an iPhone person?
iPhone.
Yeah.
But I've used Androids before. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think Androids are much more simpler to use. iPhones are complicated. I don't know about.
I don't agree, but
I mean, sorry, Apples are complicated.
I don't agree. But you know, that's your opinion. what I think iPhones are simpler, but I think Androids are more. I feel like you can be limited with an iPhone. Androids are more, you can do more things. Okay. But I think in terms of simplicity, I think nothing is simpler than an iPhone. Okay. That's what I think. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, he's an iPhone guy. I'm an Android guy. Yeah. All right. Can you name 5 top musicians you love?
In Ghana or globally?
Okay, let's start with Ghana.
My favorite Ghanaian musician is Stonebwoy. Like, I really like Stonebwoy.
Okay.
I think he's super talented. I just think he's ahead of everybody else. You know, I don't think I've heard. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough, but I haven't heard anything from Stonebwoy that I don't like. So I'll put Stonebwoy at the top of the list. I don't want to rank them in order, but so let's say the first one is number 1, and then the rest, there's no order to the rest. I've grown to. I mean, I've always liked Sarkodie, but I've grown to respect him and his craft so much in the last few years. And then even after speaking to him, you know, you just understand the amount of work he puts into his craft and how he's been able to stay relevant for so long. And I admire it so much. So I'll put Sarkodie in there as well. Wow. After Black Sheriff, bro. Amazing talent. And I think the way his career is being handled by him and his team at the moment is very promising, very encouraging. So I'll definitely have to put Black Sheriff on there. That's three. And I want to put some women here too. Let me think. Can I give you like some? I mean, they're not on my favorite list yet. You guys have a lot of work to do to get on my favorite list. But I want to give like the spotlight to a couple up and coming musicians, and Ria Boss, Sylphie, Dakwa. Like, I think they have amazing voices. They are working really hard in that craft. Because it's not easy to be a musician in Ghana, especially when you're not, mainstream or like everybody knows about you. So people like this are doing a lot, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for them. So I've given you like 6 names.
Yeah. Internationally, who do? Can you name a quick 5?
Quick 5. I really like Jay-Z.
Okay.
I like rap a lot too. I like Jay-Z. I like Drake. I like Kendrick. Let me add some R&B in there. I like Beyonce is my number one. My number one favorite artist ever, I think.
Okay.
Beyonce is just amazing. Rihanna too. I think I've said it all.
Yeah.
African, I'll say, oh man, Burna Boy. Burna Boy is amazing.
Okay.
Burna Boy is amazing. I like Tiwa Savage a lot too. And I also like, no, it's okay for now. It's hard to think of them on the spot, but there's more people I like. So yeah.
I know, right?
Well, those are my favorites. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. We got to know Zoo's top 5, local and international artists. All right. Okay, so thanks a lot for coming on the show with us.
Thank you for having me.
Really enjoyed having you here. Look forward to interviewing again in the future.
Yeah, enjoyable conversation, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors and your future interviews and stuff. So yeah,
thank you.
Please subscribe to his channel.
Yeah, subscribe from Zoo. All right, guys, to the next interview, to the next show. Do not forget to subscribe. Tell a friend who knows a friend about Just Women Africa, and to the next show from Zoo and I to be.
Bye.
Bye.